Okay, so our number 13, oh boy, did I pick the wrong problem? Maybe, oh no, yeah, number 11, sorry. They want us to do this problem in a how many groups. So remember, if it's how many groups, your units match. So I'm going to do like, say, half a cup divided by 2/3 of a cup, okay? And so what I'm going to say is I have half, let's see, a cup of, let's see, M&Ms, and my recipe calls for 2/3 cups of M&Ms. Now, do you see how I don't even have enough to make a whole batch? Because this is what I have, right? I have half a cup. I need to make a batch, 2/3. So I know I can only make part of a batch. I have half a cup of M&Ms. My recipe calls for 2/3 cups of M&M. And then I'm just going to say, like, what fraction of my recipe can I make? Okay. And so I'm going to do a picture drawing. And again, this is measurement because they match. So I'm going to draw the first one. So shade in half. I am going to get a common denominator, which is 6. So 3, 6, and 4, 6 times 3 times 3. So I'm going to cut it. And again, it takes 2 cuts to make 3 pieces. And I always cut the opposite way. All right. And so, and then I scaled this one up too. All right. And so my units are 1/6 of a cup. But, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. I know that I need 4 scoops to make a batch. That's my new unit. So I'm going to cancel the 6 of cups and just focus on scoops. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4 to make a batch. I don't have enough to make a batch. So I only have 3/4 of a batch. So I can make 3/4 of the recipe. And again, if you like to label them with kind of what they are, these are all cut into 6s, right? So this is like a 1/6, a 1/6, a 1/6. So you can see that I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, but I need 4/6 to make a whole batch. And so I only have 3 parts out of the 4 needed. And so that's where my 3/4 of a recipe comes. All right, try number 16 on page 260. So pause, try it, and then come back and see how you did. Okay, so hopefully you recognize, again, you have bottles of paint and bottles of paint. And so I have 3.5 bottles of paint, and I'm dividing by 3/4 of a bottle because this is what I have, and I want to figure out, this is what I need. I want to figure out how many poster boards I can make. So I have really 3.5 is what I have. I'm dividing by 3/4 because that's what I need, and I'm seeing how many I can make. So I'm going to, this is how many groups, so I am going to go ahead and get a common denominator and so forth. So I'm going to draw 3.5 poster boards. So I draw the first picture. 6, 7 halves. I'm going to make it improper. And again, just cutting those in halves, you should be able to see the 7 halves. I'm going to get a common denominator. So scale by 2, scale by 2. I get 14/4. And I don't do anything with this. That already has a common denominator. So again, if you want 2 things, you have to cut them in half. I'm going to shade these. So you can kind of, not that it matters. But, and then I'm going to get it, 2 things, I need 1 cut. So I'm going to cut these all the other direction. 1 cut will make 2 pieces. And again, if you cannot see the 14/4, you did it wrong. There's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If you can't see them, you did something wrong. All right, now again, my units are all in fourths. So again, this is 1/4 of a bottle, a fourth, a fourth. All of these are fourths, which again, if that helps you think about the problem, then, you know, go ahead and label them. Some people, this kind of confuses them more. So it's up to you. So again, it takes 3/4 to do 1 board. So there's 1 board there, 1 board there, and you can see the 3/4. There's 1 board there, another board there. Now again, this is where you have to be careful. This is a fourth of a bottle, a fourth of a bottle. It takes 3/4 of a bottle to make another poster board, right? And so you got to kind of think about, okay, then what fraction of a board can I do? I have 2 parts out of the 3 needed. This can only do 2/3 of a board. And that's what I mean when I say we switch units. I don't care that these little strips are each worth a fourth. Fourth of a bottle cancels. It takes 3 strips to make or 3 pieces or whatever, or 3 parts if you like that, to make a group or to cover a poster board. So again, there's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, where did I lose my 4 groups? And then I have 2 parts left of 3 needed. This tells me how many I need to make a group. And so my answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So again, I'm going to write 14/3, but that's 4 full groups and then 2/3 of another group. So I can do this many poster boards. All right. Okay. Try the next one and then see what you get there. I think just want to make sure I answered all the questions there. All right. I think that's all it asks. So I think we're okay. All right. Try the next couple and then we'll come back. Okay. I did want to come back to this one because it did ask, what are your holes? So I want to just attach up for a second. First of all, one of these could be a whole bottle. So we focused on that being a whole. We could focus on the 3/4 of a bottle because 3/4 of a bottle is enough to cover a whole poster board. So we can kind of view that as 2. So we have a lot of holes here. We have a whole bottle. We have an entire poster board. We can also focus as 3/4 of a bottle being a whole because it's what you need to make 1 whole poster board. So this 3 becomes your whole that you need to make a poster board. So 3 parts become your whole because if you get 3 parts, you get a whole poster board or a whole group. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that one quick. All right, on this page 68, number 6, okay, it says, if 1.5 cups of cereal weighs 2 pounds, how much does 1 cup of cereal weigh? Solve this with an aid of a double number line. All right, so let's make our double number line. And again, you could do paint on the wall for this if you prefer that. So 1.5 cups, and I'm also going to do maybe a ratio here. So 1.5 cups weighs 2 pounds. All right, and how much does 1 cup of cereal weigh? So the thing that I want to be a 1 is I want 1 cup. Okay, so I'm going to make this, I'm going to do the ratio first. 3/2 is 2 pounds. So if I kind of do the ratio way, I'm going to use the reciprocal because I know the reciprocal will make it equal 1. And I'm going to scale up both the top and the bottom. So these would cancel and give me 1 cup. And then over here, I'm going to put a 1 under there. What do I get? 4/3 or 1 1/3 pounds. Okay. All right. So that's kind of one way to do it. All right. Now notice if we're going to do division, you always want your 1 on the bottom because per 1 mile per 1 hour of work. So technically this division is really, I have 2 pounds divided by what, 1.5 cups. That's your division. So it's really 2 divided by 1.5. All right. Because whatever you want to be 1 is second. All right, I'm going to do a double number line. So I have I'll put the 2 pounds up here, and I'm going to go ahead and make that 3/2 cups or 1.5 cup in that form. And my goal is to get to 1 cup. So this is the one that I want to focus on my unit fraction. This is 3 iterations of 1/2. So I know that I'd have 1, 2, 3 iterations. So this must be 1/2. This would be, and again, I didn't quite cut it as evenly as I would have liked because I want to cut it in thirds. So this would be 2/2. This would be 3/2, and then I could keep counting 4/2, 5/2, and so forth. But my goal is to get to 1 cup, which is right here. So on top, whatever math I did to the bottom just accidentally happens to this guy. So do you see how I cut it into 3 pieces? And again, this one's kind of way over too much, so it should be maybe over there more. So I cut it into 3 equal pieces, so I have to do that math to the 2. So 2 divided by 3 equal pieces is same as multiplying by that. So I get what? 2/3. So that means this guy's 2/3 for its fractions, 4/3, and then this guy must be 6/3, which notice those equal, so that's good. So it's 4/3 pounds or 1 1/3 pound. I get the exact same answer. And again, you could also do paint on the wall for that. So I'm going to pause and I'll set that up quick just to show you. Okay, if you like the paint on the wall idea, see how this is a rate, and whatever you want to be 1 is your second number. So I drew the second number, and I went ahead and cut it into halves so you can see the 3 halves. That's what that is as an improper fraction. And the value that goes with that is 2 pounds. So value per strip, instead of paint per strip, it'd be, you know, value per strip. I have 2 pounds divided by, there's 3 strips, 1, 2, 3. So 2 times 1/3 is 2/3 pounds per strip. So this is 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. All right. And okay, now I had to rewind there quick because I started to make a mistake and I'm like, what's wrong? Because is it okay if you total up the strips, you get 6/3, which is 2, which that's your 2 pounds. And so then it's like, oh, and the reason is I don't want to know the value of 1 here, or 1.5. Sorry. Do you guys see how we have 1.5? I don't want to, I mean, I can total up the strips, but that's going to give me my 2 pounds, which is fine. I want to know the value of 1 cup. Remember that? Our initial value is like, okay, what is 1 cup worth? Well, remember, this is my 1 cup. All right. And so 2/3 and 2/3 is 4/3, which is 1 1/3 pounds. So this one I had to catch myself because I started to be like, oh, how many are in one group? I don't really want to know because my one group is 1.5 cups. I want to know what the value of just 1 cup is because I'm kind of over a group. Do you see this? This is the value of 1.5 groups being done. I only want 1 group. So I had to catch myself a little bit and go back because all of it is your 2 pounds. I just want to know what with 1 cup is worth, which is just that part of the picture. So had to think a little bit on that one, which is probably good for my old brain a little bit. All right. If you haven't done number 13 on page 269, do that, A and B, and then we'll come back. Okay, so again, we have a rate, which is partitive. Here we're focusing on the entire lawn. So that's what I want to equal 1. And so again, if you think about it, you could scale these back, just kind of common reasoning and common sense. And then these would get you 1 lawn. And then if I take 45 minutes over 1 times 3 halves, is that? That would be, oh boy, without a calculator, lovely. This would be what? 22.5 times 3. So that would be what? If I do the distributive property, that'd be 22 plus 0.5. So what is that? 66, and then half of 3 is what? 1.5. So is that 67.5? Is it minutes? Is that what we're in? Yeah. So that's kind of lodging, you know, thinking logically about it. If I drew a picture, again, you could kind of think of, you can do 2/3 of a lawn in 45 minutes. So let's see, if 2/3 of a lawn, and you want to get to a whole lawn. So I maybe could do, let's see, what would this look like? 2/3 of a lawn would take 45 minutes. So kind of think of a strip diagram instead. 2/3 of a lawn would be 45 minutes. So if I divide that by 2 again, I get my 22.5, 22.5, 22.5. And then you can see the 66 from these 3 plus the 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 is my 67.5. So that's kind of thinking of it just kind of logically. If I want to do this one logically, and I don't want to run out of time, if I want to do this one logically, I have what? 2/3 lawn in 45 minutes. And so I'm going to kind of think of this as a fraction instead. Actually, 45 minutes, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 15 minutes 4 times in 60 minutes, right? 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. So that would be what? 3/4 of an hour. So if I want to get this to hours, I'm just going to scale by 4/3, scale by 4/3. And so these guys equal 1, which this would be what? 8/9. So I could do 8/9 of a lawn. All right, and then if I was going to do a picture for both of these, and I'll probably look at this when I grade. The first one, you want to get 1 lawn. So you should have 45 divided by 2/3 because you want to get this into 1 lawn. And for B, you should do the other way direction. You should do 2/3 divided by, and I'm going to do 3/4 of an hour. And so on these, I want you to either do a double number line, and you want to get this to 1 or this to 1. and do a double number line or paint on a wall, something like that. And these are ones that I will grade. So go ahead and do these by a different method. Don't use this either. So do a different, like a double number line, do paint on a wall or something to solve those.